Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm David Vogel, Judge Executive. Happy to have you here today for our meeting on February 4th, first meeting of February. So I'll ask if everybody's able to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Holly Prane, will you please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Present.
Magistrate Woosley.
Here.
Magistrate Jeffries.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Hawkins. Here. Magistrate Dye.
Present.
Magistrate Logston.
Present.
Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any deletions or additions, please? Magistrate Dye.
Yes, Judge, I'd like to add the consideration for the task force discussion.
All right, why don't we put that under, I guess under community business, we'll make it to B sub 1, and that would be drug task force.
Okay, and we will need to go into a executive session. Thank you.
We will?
Did it?
Under which provision?
Yeah.
I think we do.
I think it makes sense.
All right, well, if we were going to go into executive session to discuss this, then I think we should move it down under item D, under contracts and resolutions.
Make it D1.
Yeah, D1. Let's make that D1 instead of B1, okay?
What's the provision with which we'll go into executive session?
The number.
KR, yes. You should read that.
When we go into
now.
executive session, we will.
Okay.
All right, I don't have it here myself, so if you could pass it down to me, that'd be fine.
All right.
The KRS or the
Don't read it now.
That's what,
61.880, but which,
that's what I meant.
It's 810-1, but I'll look at it, Magistrate.
Okay.
Mr.
All right.
Baxter, here it is.
Okay,
Pass it to Judge.
He's got it as 61.8101H. H is in Harry.
thank you. All right, is this a, Mr. Baxter? I mean, how does 61.810 run
I don't
read?
think that's appropriate under this circumstance. That it was more appropriate for this morning's meeting.
You don't think it's appropriate here?
No, sir.
Okay. So you're suggesting that we not go into executive session to discuss that, is that right?
I don't see a statutory exception to be able to do that for this afternoon.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll just, all right, we'll just leave it there, though, under item D sub 1, contracts and resolutions. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now we'll approve the minutes, please, for our last meeting. And,
Judge, motion to approve the minutes as mailed.
all right, that'd be for January 21st. Are there any corrections there? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, we'll open the floor to public comment. Anybody who would like to address the fiscal court is able to do so. And we'll have our county clerk, Amy Elvey.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to, excuse me, take this opportunity to let the public know regarding the mailing of the reminder postcards that are mailed out by the Kentucky Department of Revenue. The mailings for January are always delayed because if you have a January birth month, we have to wait, or the state has to wait until January 1st to input the new valuation of the vehicles on January 1. So they can't load those new values of the vehicles for the tax rates until after January 1st. So January is typically delayed, maybe 10 to 15 days. So at our January 15th county clerk's monthly meeting in Lexington, we were told by excuse me, the transportation cabinet that those mailings were going to be, the postcards were going to be mailed out to customers on the 17th. We were towards later on in the month, we were getting numerous calls that no one had received their postcards. We got an email on January the 28th saying that they were going to be mailed out the next day, which was the 29th, so that doesn't give people a lot of time. But just so people are aware, these are not a bill. You do not have to have these in hand. These are just a courtesy reminder that comes from the Kentucky Department of Revenue. They're not mailed out by your individual county clerks, so they're not mailed out locally by us, and they come out from a third-party vendor that the state uses. So if anyone has, your birth month never changes. So if you have a January birthday, then you know that is when your tags are due. February has been mailed out. We did have some customers that have already received their February postcards. So typically they're mailed 6 to 8 weeks out prior to the due date for the renewal of registration. So I just want people to know that if you don't get your postcard and you have your birthday is an example in February, all you need to do is bring in your driver's license, your prior year registration, and current proof of insurance, and we can renew from that. The postcard is not a requirement to renew your tax. So just want to put that out there. I put it on social media, which links to our webpage, but I wanted to come in and say that on fiscal court as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else to address the court during public comment? All right, seeing no one, I'll close the public comment section and would like to take a moment now to do something special that we've never done before here, or at least it's been done very rarely, and that is to celebrate the wonderful 77th wedding anniversary of two people in our county. 77 is a long time to live just by yourself, but to actually be married to someone for 77 years is certainly extraordinary. So today, whereas on this day we celebrate the extraordinary 77 years of marriage between Oldham County residents Marion John Morose and Virginia Jade Gruska, a union marked by love, commitment, and resilience. And whereas Marion John Morose, proud World War II veteran, served his country with courage and honor, demonstrating the dedication and sacrifice of a generation that shaped the course of of our country. And whereas Virginia Jade Morose, equally remarkable, has been a steadfast partner, providing unwavering support and compassion throughout their shared life journey, building a legacy of mutual respect and understanding. And whereas both Marion and Virginia were born to Polish immigrants, their lives deeply enriched by the values of hard work, perseverance, and the immigrant spirit that has contributed immeasurably to the fabric of our society. And whereas their marriage and their 3 loving children stand as testament to the power of love, dedication, and perseverance in overcoming life's challenges and continuing to inspire all who know them. So now, therefore, I, David Vogel, by virtue of authority vested in me as County Judge Executive of Oldham County, Kentucky, on behalf of the Fiscal Court and the citizens of Oldham County, do hereby declare February 4th, 2025 as Marion and Virginia Morose Day in Oldham County. So congratulations. And they're not able to be here today because they're, I guess, in assisted living, but we certainly know they will see this, and we wish you the very, very best and congratulate you on this wonderful milestone in your lives.
Wow.
Judge, just wanted to let everyone know, Kevin Woosley and myself are going to go out after court today and present this to them out at the Springs.
Thank you. I'll give you the proclamation. Thank you. The next item on today's agenda is the bid opening for surface water quality monitoring. And do we have bids on that, please? All right. This first bid is from Patriot Engineering and Environmental of Louisville, $27,200. The proposal to develop and obtain water quality sampling measurements, field observation, and lab costs associated with sampling for E. coli at least 5 times in 30 days, allowing comparison for the geometric mean water quality standard for assessing the primary contract for recreation designated use, and to analyze, develop, and submit final data with an assessment recommendation. So that's from them, $27,200.
Judge, a quick question. Normally, we have a check mark on our SOS standing or federal exclusion, or those are blank, because I didn't know whether that's something that was just overlooked or whether that's a requirement.
We'll do that after the bidder has been selected.
Okay.
In the past, we were, say if we had 6 bidders in this example, we would spend a lot of time to look at 5 others that ultimately would receive a bid. So we decided that we were prudent to do it.
Okay.
All right, that conversation really can't be heard by our viewers at home, so I'll summarize it and say that we're going to do that later.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So then if
That's
the,
not a very clear verification, but it's the best I can do after I heard it was.
so just by chance, if this one Patriot doesn't pass muster, does it automatically go to the other vendor?
We'd have to vote on it probably.
Somebody needs to tell me, Jim Silliman.
Because we didn't vote for the other vendor.
We've got more than one here.
Yes, Jim Silliman, County Engineer, and it would simply be incorporated in the review process.
No, I'm talking about if the first one, the Secretary of State doesn't come back good. Okay? The
Well,
one
we-
we voted, the one that y'all picked.
That's correct. It's just part of the evaluation process. And ideally, and typically, most of them do come back favorable. And then we select by other means.
That's not my luck. Okay, you've answered the question. Thanks.
The second bid here is from Atlas Technical Consultants in Louisville, $15,100. We have 2, that's it, 2, right? All right.
Judge, may I ask the engineer something while he's standing here?
Go ahead.
Okay. I think in the past, we had Becca with, who worked for the county, get grants to do this. Is that a possibility? Or
Well,
am I
so
think, yeah,
this specific work is associated with our MS4 grant. It's the minimum,
Okay.
part of minimum control measure 3 of our MS4 permit with the Division of Water. We've done this, a full assessment of the county with multiple watersheds under the
Yeah.
previous 5-year permit, and now we're doing it again. This area is within the Curry's Fork watershed, and we'll compare those results. It does count as match towards the Curry's Fork 319H grant. So it will contribute towards that, but it's been standard as just part of our engineering department budget.
perfect. I just didn't know if it was still under the grant umbrella, that we could use the grant money for this.
No, it's not, but it is utilized towards that.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next bid opening is for the Fiscal Court Reception Center next door for heating and air conditioning. The first bid is from Alpha Energy, and it $300 $9,465.
Was that again?
300.
$309,465.
Thank you.
Thompson Heating and Cooling, $119,496.
119,000?
That's right. $119,496.
It's a big difference.
We'll have to take a look at that, all right? Who's, somebody is going to get that, I guess that's my office.
Judge, we'll turn those over to Rodney Gabbard for his review, and we'll come back with a recommendation from the Building and Maintenance Committee.
Well, I think we'll, I don't know when's that committee going to, we don't want to wait till building maintenance, we can't wait another month, so we got to get going on this.
Well, he'll look at them right now.
Okay,
We want to make sure we're apples to apples.
right, right.
That
There's- I
big
know
of a
there's
difference
There's a
especially.
pretty big difference in costs there, I agree. All right, next item is under county administration. We've got our bills to pay today.
Judge, I'll make the motion that we pay the payables.
Second.
Any discussion on them? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Under community business, the first reading of ordinance KLC 25-920-81 related to proposed zoning map amendment for 1555 and 1155 and 1175 North Highway 53. All right, Ryan Fisher.
All right, Judge, Magistrates, thank you. So before you today, we have a first reading of that zoning map amendment ordinance, as Judge stated, KLC 25-920-081. So that is relating to a zoning change for a proposed family entertainment center known as Oldham County Family Entertainment that'll be located there on North Highway 393 in front of Clayton Lambert, across from the high school, in between the Marathon station there on the corner and Aaron's Orthodontics. So back on December 10th, Planning Commission did recommend approval of that zoning map amendment to you all. So today is that first reading. A couple things on the ordinance, though, I happen to notice today, which I believe the county attorney will confirm that these are minor changes. One of which is, I guess my big fingers on the keyboard, instead of saying 1155 and 1175, I believe your copy says 1775. So that was a mistake there on my fingers. And then in the first paragraph, as I was looking through it today also, I missed the zoning classification change in that very first paragraph. So that zoning change of this is from I-2 Industrial District to C3 Commercial District. So just to, I believe the county attorney can confirm those are minor changes.
Those are minor changes, and that was what the record in the Planning Commission will reflect.
Yes. So I just wanted to bring those up. So other than that, first reading, we'll have our second reading and public hearing on the 18th.
Okay, do we need to send you to a keyboard class?
Maybe.
All right,
I'm glad I caught that today, though.
okay, all right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. That hearing will be posted on our website. And I encourage everyone who hasn't taken a close look at our website to look at it. We've got a new one. It looks good, and we appreciate the effort that went into it by staff and Michael Thompson. All right, next item on the agenda today has to do with the household waste grant resolution. So, anybody,
Judge, I'd
Ms.
like
Hawkins?
Yep. Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we allow you to sign the grant application for submission and also sign the acceptance form if awarded the grant, which will fund a household hazardous waste collection event for the well-being of the county, and this is something that we do annually.
Second.
All right, motion's made and seconded that I sign the household waste application grant grant application, I should say.
Yep.
I'm sure no one objects to it. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Judge, I'd like to make the motion that we allow you to sign the grant application for submission and also sign the acceptance form if awarded the grant, which will allow the purchase of equipment and/or educational materials, which will approve the operation at the Oldham County Recycling Center. And this is the Recycling Education and Equipment Grant application.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Now we're at the item contracts and resolution D sub 1, Drug Task Force, Magistrate Dye.
Thank you, Judge. Today, the Public Safety and Detention Center Committee met with a contingent of the local law enforcement and some gentlemen from the KSP, Kentucky State Police, to discuss this formation of this task force, drug task force, and the committee came back out with a decision of 3-0 to support this. Now, there's been a lot of talking back and forth about the agreement that was set with this, and I'm going to go ahead, just so we understand this, there's not going to be a lot of discussion about it. I want to make sure everybody's clear, okay? That I'm going to move to proceed with joining the North Central Kentucky Drug Task Force and to authorize the judge executive to execute the interlocal agreement regarding the task force once finalized. The one that's been going around is not the final copy by any means of the imagination, which includes expending a $40,000 initial payment towards the startup expenses. So what that means to the court, I'm versed on this from the morning meeting, is...
Magistrate Dye, can I second that motion before you move forward?
I'm sorry?
Can I second the motion so we
Yeah,
can
go
get it on
ahead,
the
yeah.
floor? I'll second that.
Okay, all right, thank you. What it amounts to is the agreement that was put out initially. It has since went through some changes that it may take per a representative of KSP. He said, the judge had several concerns and legitimate concerns, and we got guarantees from the state police that this document would be flushed out to where everybody, the 6 counties and possibly us and 5 other counties, and some additional counties who may want to get on because they're watching what we're doing, that there's not going to be any transfer of money until all of the 6 judges that want to get in on this sign. Now, there may be a problem with the final document that Judge Vogel may not like, or all 6 of the judges may not like. But today, we're just asking the court to take the next step and say, okay, y'all go work on this document, and when you get it ready to bring back and everybody signs it, then you get your $40,000. And that's the initial investment, and maybe the only investment. Again, this is all very in its infancy, but we have to start somewhere, and this is where the committee thought we should start. So with that, it's up for discussion. So, thank you.
Judge, can I interject one thing?
Okay.
The only thing I would add to what Magistrate Dye said is, as an interlocal agreement, it also has to be approved by the Attorney General. So if it is signed off on, it has to go to the Attorney General's office for final approval. I think they, by statute, have 30 days to approve an interlocal agreement. If they don't act on it in the 30 days, it becomes, it has the force of law at that point. But there is that oversight as well. And then once that happens, the final document has to be recorded with the Secretary of State.
All right, does anybody have anything they'd like to say here? I'm not sure, Magistrate Logston.
Okay, so we're being asked to sign, are we asking the judge to sign anything today, or are we just saying we're going to give you $40,000?
No, we're not giving him any money, and he's not signing anything. It's just a conceptual, we're going to say, when you get the document, when the judge gets the document, when he's comfortable with signing it, and we're comfortable with signing it, and then we give them the $40,000, but not until then.
So what's the vote if we don't have a document to vote on? What's the vote if we don't have a document to vote
You're
on?
voting on letting the judge work towards getting work with these people to get the document prepared,
Okay.
so we can,
Didn't we do that last court, though?
no.
No, last court we gave permission to we
Yeah.
asked the county attorney to take the next steps, which was to have the meeting 2 Fridays ago, Mr. Baxter, I don't remember.
And now this is permission to
Take the next
procure a more
Formal agreement.
formal MOU, and then it'll be brought back to us to allow the judge to sign.
So there hasn't been
Is
any
that-
other counties jump in on this, or have there, or where are we on this?
Mr. Baxter, would you like to answer that?
Well, Henry County is in favor of the task force. Trimble County is in favor of the task force. I don't know the answer to Gallatin, Owen, or Carroll. I know that there's been communications with the prosecutors in those jurisdictions. Their sheriffs were all present at our last meeting. There is a meeting on the 21st at the Post at 10 o'clock in the morning. And Judge, you are invited to that meeting, I understand. Whether you can be there or not, that's certainly up-
February 21st?
Yes, sir. And one other thing that happened this morning is I know the captain offered to give you his email address, but I thought he may have snuck out before he did that. Do I need to get that for you?
Yes.
I will reach out to Sergeant Whalen and get that for you so you can communicate your concerns to the captain.
Mr. Baxter, it's my understanding that it's not just the counties along the I-71 corridor, but KSP is also, once we get the task force up and running, to try to commit a trooper or detective to the task force also?
That is correct.
I feel like this may be being discussed in a manner that appears a little bit cryptic, and we don't want to do that. I think we have to be forthright with it. That we will always want to be that way. There is an interest in interest in all of us in government and law enforcement within our 6 counties along I-71 to eliminate to the greatest possible extent any illegal drug activity. And it happens in all of our counties. And we want to push it down. We love to push it out, get rid of it. As anyone who's been following the news lately knows, President Trump has ramped up pressure on Mexico and Canada to try to stop fentanyl, I guess in particular, from coming in to the United States, killing people left and right. Both of these countries have committed 10,000 individuals, troops, and maybe some other types of individuals to help fight this epidemic and disease. It's not a disease, it's just a terrible thing. So, but we want to fight here locally in our communities as well. So an effort has been sort of come up from the law enforcement people to try to organize our counties together to do something. I've spoken with the Attorney General about this. He was very much in favor of us doing something, and there are a couple of other places in the state where, in Hardin County, and I believe Northern Kentucky has a drug strike task force, they call it, and how they're put together. Those counties are a little bit different mix than our counties, and then may have different needs and things they're addressing. But I'm in favor of trying to eradicate drugs in our community, and have no objection to us investing some money in this program. What money that would be? Would it be from a special fund we have regarding opioids, or would it be from our general fund, is yet to be determined. Would we invest personnel in it? I'm reluctant there because we're already short 3 officers, and our budget is very tight for the coming year. To go out and jump in with more than the $40,000 mentioned by Magistrate Dye, I think would be difficult for us. But I'm certainly willing to commit at least $40,000 to try to help this thing get off the ground if that will do it. What I have expressed concern about, my name came up, there's an agreement among the counties called a Memorandum of Understanding on how this will work. I just want our group here, as well as the other judges I've spoken with, and I've spoken with all of them, have concerns about certain aspects of this agreement. We all want to be on the same page and understand exactly what the task force would do and what our law enforcement responsibilities would be in regard to interfacing with that task force and interfacing them in regard to what may happen in Oldham County with the task force or what may happen in other counties up I-71. So we just need to have all our details worked out and not, jump into the pool and find there's no water in it. We're going to put some water in it, but we want to make sure that we understand exactly what we're committing to and what the task force is committing to and how it will operate in our county. So just want to be cautious and not have to back up anywhere along the line. We do need to address drug. We've got a lot of good people up and down this I-71 who are willing to fight drugs to the greatest possible extent, and I'm supportive of all of those people. But I just want to make sure that, and the other judges I've spoken with as well have all expressed the same concern and the same support. Support something, but let's know what we're doing and make sure that we're in agreement with how it's going to be carried out and what our future commitment may be to it if it doesn't receive the forfeiture money or grant money or other sources of revenue that are anticipated but not guaranteed. So that's basically, I think, where I am.
I just want to make sure that, since you're talking about the public, that they understand this money, this $40,000, will be coming out of the opioid money, not from our budget.
No.
No, I just tried to say we haven't decided where that will come from. There are certain opioids. When you say opioid, what is that? Is that heroin? Is that fentanyl? Is that something else? I don't exactly know what the classifications or opioids are, but opioid funds, as I understand it, can only be used for enforcement of opioid problems and in the law enforcement area. A lot of the money is supposed to go for treatment, and we haven't really ventured into. We're looking at other counties on what their treatment programs may be, but we haven't gotten that far along the line yet. We've gone slow and tried to learn from other people. But I'm not saying we're committing opioid funds. We may just need to take general funds, out of our general account to support the thing. And if we get into opioids, it has to be documented very carefully. Well, this law enforcement activity was related to opioids, and this one wasn't. I think that's where it can get a little hairy.
So all the task force money will be coming out of the general budget then?
We don't know that.
Well, we don't know that yet.
We don't know.
We have to get real good clarification. I think different individuals, Mr. Baxter, others have been in contact with drug enforcement officials in Frankfurt and have gotten some pretty good information. But, Jim, most of it that I've heard has come with a provision that, well, yeah, you can use this money for that, but you can't use it for, I can't think of what drug, heroin. I don't know if heroin's an opioid or not, but
It is, Your Honor.
Marijuana, okay. And really, in Oldham County, most of our drug problems, to my knowledge base, have to do with marijuana and meth. So, but what's an opioid, what's not, that all has to be, I think, laid out very clearly for the people who are doing this enforcement work, so they're not on the wrong side of the financial issue and that's why I say if we take general fund money, don't have to worry about that.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and vote for the $40,000 for the startup, just because we spend money to, do a traffic study on something. So I understand that, but this was not the way it was sold to me to begin with, because I thought it was gonna be money coming strictly from the opioid money that we received from the drug companies. And now might be a line item that we have to have every year in our budget. So, I'm gonna go ahead to start this out and see where this goes. But this was not where I was supposed to be at one time, or where I was supposed to be sold to.
Well, just to clarify that, you said it's not, you do not know,
I did not know this
none of
was
us
not.
know what's gonna happen to next year's budget.
Last time we did this, it was sold as it was gonna be money from the drug companies' payoffs. It was not sold as gonna come out of our general fund.
I'll have to look at, I'll have to look at the videotape. I don't remember
Well,
it
that's
that way.
that's the way I interpret it.
I think I sort of heard it that way too, but it's easier for us. Most of the other counties in this, them taking money out of their general fund is painful. It's for us too, but we can absorb the pain a lot easier than Owen County can, for example. And I do believe in the provision, in the MOU, there will be a provision that gives you an escape clause, so to speak. If I'm told that after 3 months, if you're not satisfied being in this group, you can jump out. So that's what was said this morning. Magistrate Hounds.
I think that we have taken some very strategic baby steps, and we've created the foundation. We started with at the last fiscal court, trying to be transparent and giving the county attorney permission to speak on behalf of the court to move it to the next step. They had their meeting a couple Fridays ago. They've started on the MOU, which we talked about earlier today. This is yet another step in that, and the goal and objective is to keep everybody on page as to what we're doing. To know where the money's going to come from, I think, Judge, you said it the best. We don't know where the money's going to come from. I think until we get the process up and running, and what we learned earlier today is that there are grants and other, I don't know what the term is to use, Mr. Baxter, the other, not task forces, but
It's grant money.
grant money, okay, that can come, that would have to be able to fund this. But what we know is we can't apply for any of the grant money until we get an executive director, until we get the process moving. And that's what we're trying to do today, is just keep the ball rolling and try to keep the process moving the best that we can. And that's why we're bringing this up again to court today.
Magistrate Jeffries.
Yes, Judge, I want to speak in favor of this motion from Magistrate Dye. I think, we've talked about this quite extensively. I think it's time to move forward. We've got we have an ongoing drug problem in Oldham County. I mean, in this whole state or whatever. So I think that, the money I'm hoping will come from the opioid funds. And I think the Attorney General has expressed his thoughts that this would probably qualify for funding through that account. And so, I think we just need to move forward with this and try to get, show the other 5 counties that we are willing to do this, and that we will join them in trying to get these opioids under control in this whole region. So hopefully, down the road, Shelby and maybe Scott and Franklin County have expressed an interest to join in. So I think we need to just move, down the road on this, and I certainly support this motion, and I hope we can come out of today so the other counties can say, hey, Oldham County is on board with this, and let's move forward. So that, I highly suggest or would encourage my fellow magistrates to vote for this motion.
Okay, Magistrate Woosley.
Magistrate Dye, can you just repeat the motion?
Oh, okay.
Maybe Holly can.
Give me just a second. Move to proceed with joining the North Central Kentucky Drug Task Force and to authorize the judge to execute the interlocal agreement regarding the task force once finalized, which includes expending the $40,000 initial payment towards startup expenses.
Okay, thank you.
Barry, did you have something else you wanted to say?
The only thing in response to what Magistrate Logston said is that I think there was some discussion. After the meeting, I got an email that indicated that the judge was concerned about using opioid money for the initial $40,000, and that his thought was that we would pay that $40,000 out of the general fund, just not to muddy that up. As far as funding, there's two things. One is that Van Ingram, who sits on the Opioid Commission and is the head of the Office of Drug Policy for the state of Kentucky, was present at our last meeting. We discussed using opioid funds as a possible funding source. And at our next meeting on the 21st, they're making an effort to have Chris Evans attend, who is the chairman of the Opioid Committee, who works in the Attorney General's office, so that we can discuss this in more detail with everybody. I've had a opportunity to sit down with Mr. Evans and Jesse Halliday of his office and discuss this. So I think I'm fairly clear about what they're saying we can do with the money. But we want to all be on the same page, and actually the thought process is hire a director and empower the director to seek additional funding either through the grant process, through the Office of Drug Control Policy, or empower them to go to the Opioid Commission collectively on behalf of the counties to see if we can make a presentation to be able to get some funding from that source.
Well, I'm just, to repeat where I was 2 weeks ago, I thought this money was going to come out of our drug money that we had set aside from the drug companies, because we kept talking about, we got to do something with this money. We got to do something with this money. There's 800 and something thousand. We're going to get another 100 and something thousand every year. That is where I thought the money was coming from. I did not know it was going to come out of the general fund. That is my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay, well, it has to be clarified, if it can come out of opioid money, we've heard, different stories about people trying to use opioid money for this thing or that thing, and having at least, the story that sticks in my mind is that somebody wanted to buy a drug dog, and they was told they couldn't buy a drug dog because a drug dog with opioid money, because a drug dog would actually pick up other drugs than opioids. So that seemed, strange to me, but that's what I was told had happened. Personally, I hope we can use opioid money for all of it. It'd be great. That would solve the problem with the digital signs too, because we can use opioid money for anything, then we can put anything on those digital signs too. So that would clear up that issue. Well, anyway, we'll find out more. I'm going to be in contact with Captain Webb at the State Police, and you have his email, I guess, Barry.
Judge, I am emailing you right now.
Okay, right. And I'll put my questions out. I just there are certain things that we as Oldham County, I'm for getting rid of all the drugs up and down I-71, but I'm mostly in favor of protecting and advocating the interests of Oldham County. So to the extent we can be in this task force and do that, then that makes that much more acceptable. Magistrate Hawkins.
Are the other counties fronting some money as well?
Pardon?
Are the other counties expected to front some money as well?
Well, everybody'd have to put in $40,000.
Okay.
And I asked this morning, I didn't really get an answer. Can 6 counties put in $240,000 and start this program? I guess you can hire your executive director and, have to give them an office somewhere, and which I've been told can be provided by one of the counties at assume no cost. But there were insurance questions that have not been issued or addressed. I don't know what happens. And the thing that was given to me said these people could operate in our undercover agents could operate in the 6 counties, but essentially anywhere in the state a trail of drugs might lead them. So I don't know if I don't want to cite a ridiculous point of view, but do we need an Oldham County police officer doing something in Pike County, because the trail that took them there? I don't know. It's just got questions that have to be answered, so, in my mind. But I don't want to undermine the idea, because we do want to reduce drug traffic.
Judge, I think it's time Oldham County led from the front on this issue.
Well, we're in it equally. It wasn't our idea to begin with. It came to us, and I think we certainly want us in, because our county is larger than all the other counties put together. So we're certainly an important point there. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. I'm going to repeat the motion is to support the effort to create a drug task force and our willingness to contribute $40,000 if we agree to the provisions of the memorandum of understanding, if we agree as a court to the provisions. Is that a fair summary of what you were point you were trying to make?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I believe we're ready now to recommend HVAC contractor. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, Judge, we took a look at both of these quotes. Both companies we've worked with in the past and have confidence in both companies, but in this particular case, we do in fact think that the Thompson Heating and Cooling at the lower bid is an adequate system. The other system is a little bit nicer. It has some economizers. And Joe Kelly could probably better describe all the nuances and differences here, but we've all looked at this and feel like the bid from Thompson Heating and Cooling would be our recommendation.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we award the bid to Thompson Heating and Cooling for $119,496.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded that Thompson Heating and Cooling get the bid for the Fiscal Court Reception Center next door, heating and cooling. Questions?
I don't think we had this in the budget when we did the budget, so it'll be a budget amendment for this. Is that correct? Stan? Transfer?
Transfers.
Okay. Thank you.
To the extent that the cost is a surprise, the answer is yes.
The cost is a surprise.
Yeah, right. Everything we do has unexpected consequences, so you can't help it. It's just part of the game. All right, Magistrate Hawkins.
Admittedly, I'm not an expert on HVAC, but I'll ask Mr. Kelly this question. Will this system have some kind of sound buffer in it? Because the space is not that big, and I think this system is going to be a little bit more than usual large system. So that's my question. When you're in there at an event, will the sound of it be dampered?
To a point, yes. It'll all be coming from the ground. It won't be coming from conventional from the ceiling because it's a finished space.
Okay.
In the main event space, a lot of it will be done with mini splits, so you shouldn't get as much sound.
Okay. Thank you.
I've got a question.
Mr. Kelly should die.
Joe, I mean, we just left building committee here less than an hour ago. We were discussing this pricing on these this system, and I'd ask you, what was there before and what were, I went through the whole thing. I won't go through it again. But it looks like to me that when the numbers were thrown out there, that we had a $2,000 disparage area between what we thought one person would come in at and another person would come in at, correct? Okay.
Correct.
Well, we're still about, not exactly 200,000, but pretty darn close. But the thing is, it's 100,000 less than both numbers. What are we giving up from what we thought we wanted, or can these people come up with better ideas and say we can do this differently or better? Because I think Joe, Mr. Andrew used a term that like the lower number there is probably more like ground beef, not ground chuck, so to speak.
So essentially what it is two different engineering ways of doing it. Both ways will work. One is going to be a little bit more engineered. It's going to have a little bit more fail-safes. If one unit went down, we could isolate that one unit. The other way, if one unit goes down, we're going to be pumping cold air along with hot air. We're just going to shut the units down. Could mean we may wait a couple hours in parts. Could be a day or two. So one way is going to have way more fail-safes. The other way, they're both going to get the job done. They're both going to meet the required minimum air to be brought into the building. I think both of them will work. Obviously, the higher one's going to have more fail-safes, but they both will perform. Both companies have guaranteed that any issues at all, they will make it right.
So he didn't say which one, we're going to go with 119, right?
119 with Thompson Heating and Cooling. I believe for this situation, that would be the way to go.
Okay, just wanted to clear up, because we had too many $100,000 numbers flying around there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Magistrate Woosley.
Kelly,
Kelly.
I've got one more question. Is that,
Mr. Kelly?
Yep. One more question. Is it a train system, or what's the?
The mini splits would be Mitsubishi. So,
Oh, okay.
Because the building will have building automation, Mitsubishi allows us the motion control to be able to see that building and what's going on.
Okay, so the equipment will be Mitsubishi and not a train system. And so are the cooling, is it a heat pump system, or what type of cooling?
So the Mitsubishi will be the mini splits. There will actually be 2 of them, and then there will be 2 in the basement that will replace the ones that are there. They will probably end up being train. So there'll be 2, I believe 5 tons in the basement part, and then there'll be 2 mini splits mounted up in the vent space.
Okay, and then the air flow in what was originally the sanctuary or whatever, where will the air be coming from? Directly out of those mini splits?
There will be air coming out of the mini splits, but there also will be, around the edge of the room, there will be some vents that will have to be put in. There will be nothing mounted above ceiling anywhere.
So this system will meet the new standards as far as after COVID, as far as the airflow and that kind of thing?
Yep.
Okay.
I know more about it than he does.
Magistrate Woosley.
The awning looks nice, the steeple looks nice. Other than this AC unit, what else do we need in that building to get it open?
Other than that, I believe we need handrails around the stage, something so when people go up and down, and then the audio video is in the works. Pretty much inside, we're lacking a little bit of painting for the most part, and the HVAC.
So you think this summer we'll have that open?
That would not be my call.
That would not be my call.
I would say in the next 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
The HVAC should be pretty quick. It should all be stuff we can get locally for the most part.
Okay, thank you.
The answer to your question is yes. I hope we can. Summer, let's get it in 60 days, 35 days, 40 days. I mean, who knows?
The bell's being
The bell has been,
it's already back?
the bell has gone to Cincinnati to get repaired, get cleaned up, everything. And I think we're also talking to somebody about some stained glass over the picture of Christ in there. That has been reframed, or framed. I don't know, sure if it ever had a frame on it, did it, Wayne? You remember there? You can't remember, probably way back.
Not to my knowledge, as far back as I go.
Yeah, and so we're turning the corner here. We're heading. The fourth corner's been turned, whereas we see the finish line, but it's a few more days. They can put that thing in. We're about ready to go. I've already had one person ask if she could reserve using it for a family event. So anyway,
Are the parks going to manage that, or who's going to manage the rental of that?
Well, we haven't really decided that yet.
All right, Judge,
Okay.
why don't you reserve that room for a gala, so when you cut the ribbon for the animal control building.
The animal control.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite a ways away.
Yeah.
Well, well, you can, I mean, people, you can say it's a belated.
We'll have it in the parking lot at the animal control building if we can have a gala there.
Well, we'd have to get the construction trucks out of the way.
Yeah, I know. That's coming too. We're coming. That's another one that's turning the fourth corner, going for the home stretch, I hope. All right, is there any, we're down now to our second public comment. Anybody
Need to
here?
vote on that.
Oh, we didn't vote on what? On
Air
drug-
conditioning.
And the HVAC.
Oh, the HVAC. Okay, sorry. All right, all in favor of supporting Thompson Heating and Cooling for the HVAC job, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. All right, anybody come in for public comment here? Don't see anyone. We have Grant Gerstner here, our new Oldham area reporter. Would you like to come up and just tell the court where you're from, a little bit about yourself? See you sitting there, and like to have everybody meet you.
Well, hi, my name is Grant Gerstner. I'm the new editor at the Oldham Era. I'm actually from Oldham County. I was born in Louisville, but my parents moved here when I was about 1 year old, so Oldham County is all I can remember. I was gone. I went to U of L for 4 years, so I lived in Louisville for a while, but I am now back, and I plan to stay. So I went to South Oldham High School and went to South Oldham Middle School, Kenwood Elementary. So I've been here in Oldham County for a while, and I'm glad to be back here representing,
All right.
the news and everything.
Were you working somewhere before you came here?
Actually, no, this is my first job in journalism.
Okay,
Actually.
great.
Yeah, my degree was in English, but yeah, no, I, by some circumstance, got into, the more journalism side of things, and then came to the Oldham Era, so.
All right, great. Well, welcome. We hope, we know you like it here. You came home, so
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
great. And we're very happy to cooperate with you and provide any information we
Awesome.
can.
Yeah. Well, I'm
for the
glad to be
public.
here. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Judge, just wanted to say, too, he had a nice pictures on the new courthouse in the Oldham Era last week.
All right, thank you
So,
for
yep.
thank you for putting those out. And our expected timetable here is to either have the project finished in November, or I mean not November, I mean July or August. It's hope they can stick with it. Our construction manager is optimistic, so and soon all the walnut woodworking is going in. A lot of things are happening inside. It's going to be a very nice building for the next 300 years. We're looking forward to it. Okay, I think we're about at the end here. We can go through the magistrates, see if anybody has anything they'd like to share. Manager Logston, are you speechless?
Thank you.
Manager Dye, how about you? You're not
Nothing.
speechless. Nothing.
Nothing.
All right, Manager Hawkins.
Nothing today, Judge, thank you.
Manager Hounds.
I don't want to break the trend, so I'm going to say nothing.
Nothing. All right, Manager Jeffries.
Nothing today, Judge.
Okay. Manager Woosley.
Well, Judge, I am going to break the seal. There were 3 deaths recently in Oldham County. I just wanted to honor those folks. Sandra Ames, who lived in the 3rd District, but she worked at Bloom's here on Main Street for a really long time. Tom Temple from Crestwood, and Larry Dotson, who I served with the school board. So just wanted to honor those 3. South Oldham Middle School and South Oldham High School, their cheerleaders are attending the National Cheer Competition at Disney this weekend, and they are competing Sunday at 1 o'clock, so wish them well. And finally, I want to congratulate Wayne and his wife, Linda Tice, for being honored as Oldham County High School Hall of Fame members. That's all I have, Judge.
All right. Great. Now,
Thank you. That just proves that if you live long enough, you'll get somebody will recognize you for something. Now, is it my turn at this point?
Yes, it
And
is.
usually
Your
I
turn.
don't have much to say, but I think it was said maybe in jest about the church over there after we get it completed, and I think it would be a great opportunity to showcase the place and have an open house and invite other civic groups and communities in our community, speaking of the Crestwood, Pee Wee Valley, and all those people who may need a venue that we can offer to them now. I look forward to that being there, and hopefully I think it'll be a success in all the people that will be able to offer that to. And then we've got at least a month now that we can get in place how we will administer or who our go-to person that we can refer to that will take care of leasing or renting out the property, and be able to talk about that. So hopefully we can wrap this thing up in the next couple of months, and as we go into spring, be able to showcase that. So thank you, Judge.
Right. Good idea. We will definitely have a reception. Manager Likens.
Nothing, Judge. Thank you.
Judge, just one thing
Yes, sir.
you brought to mind, maybe we reach out to the Methodist Church and, invite them, their minister and that kind of thing to, to see what the church looks like now, as a new venue.
Right. And, well, that's great. Great ideas. All right. Well, thank you very much. You did mention the passing of a couple of, several people in the community. Also want to mention that, longtime insurance agent and certainly very strong civic member, Steve Schultz, who's passed away. And Steve gave a lot for a long time to help make our community a better community, and certainly was dedicated across the board in a lot of things, and was a former district governor of Rotary and probably a 35-year Rotary Club member. And so we certainly express our sympathy to Carol and the rest of Steve's family. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.